Okay, Cindy, let's go ahead and begin with your reading. Now, I mentioned that life purpose questions typically take a full 60 minutes, but I am being guided here. And I feel that, the reason why I leave that amount of time is because it typically takes quite a lot of time to extract those messages. But I'm feeling really guided here to we're going to see how the energy flows. Okay, this can all change, but I feel that they're going to give me the answer pretty quickly here. In which case, if this does happen, then we're going to start going into all of your other questions. Okay, and then we'll just, whenever we run out of time is when we'll stop. Okay, but let's go ahead and get into this life purpose question now. I just feel that it's really going to come through quickly. So I'm getting this. There's something very healing about your energy. So when I read the cluster of cards in the bottom of the deck, it gives a bit of insight into the energy. Yeah, there's this provider energy. I feel, the Empress is the mother of the tarot, okay? Which you did ask about. Is it Aiden? Okay. So maybe that's one of your children. But whatever the case here, all this energy is healing energy, okay? Empress, Four of Cups, Four of Swords. Okay, so merit and medical. Okay, so you work in the medical field then. That's showing up here. Queen of Cups, healing. Ace of Cups, healing. Okay, let's go ahead and pull directly on the energy. Now, this could just be that we're getting messages here that you are in the right field. Page of Cups. Okay, so we're seeing all this water energy. It was on the bottom of the deck, and now it's coming out here. Water, healing, emotions, things like this. Something here about emotional balance. Five of Cups, so more water energy. Okay, I just heard very clearly. Okay. Okay, let's just say. So I'm definitely picking up on the medical field here, but there also seems to be something here. There may be another direction that you're being called to go in here, where you change things up slightly. What I was going to say was more water energy. Something having to do with bereavement and grief, like grief counseling, something like this. Oh, okay. Okay, I get it now. It makes sense. It's it's providing people with pathway forward, a pathway forward in areas where they may have felt that they had no options. Okay. Something in the realms of that. It could be maybe somebody needs something, some sort of medical treatment or supply or equipment, something like this. And maybe they felt that there was no hope. And you or your company, the company you work for, provides people with solutions, medical solutions. Okay. Now it feels like it's coming together. You are a way forward. So you provide hope, you provide healing. And this is just how it shows up in the energy. How it shows up in our everyday waking life is just you having a customer who comes to you for a product or a service or something, and you're able to provide that, right? Kind of like new age. It's like a new age healer. What do we have at the solar plexus? Queen of Swords. Air energy at the solar plexus. Yeah, there's something about your energy as well. You very much have this it's like a boss like energy. It's a very organized, straight talking kind of energy. And I feel that you cut through any sort of confusion, okay? It could be that, this person here, they go somewhere else to another company and they think they're going to get help with something. And then these people say, well, you got to jump through this hoop and that hoop and blah, blah, blah. And, maybe your medical insurance won't cover it or something like this. Okay. And they're like, but I thought that. And then you come along and you're like, oh, no, we're not going to sell you a dream or, sell you hope. We're going to get you exactly what you need, something like this. So, having said all this so far, I'm just looking at your other questions here because they are telling of what I'm picking up here. The fact that you're already working in the medical field, I feel that you are in the right sector. It may just be, you mentioned something about Boston Scientific here. So moving from one place to another, it may just be that you are being called to expand here. Maybe you'll have different responsibilities. But you are supposed to be working with people, okay? Now, there's obviously many different ways you can do this, but providing people with things that they need to bring healing to them. Three of Pentacles, yeah, business solutions. Laying out a path forward to healing. Eight of Cups. Pisces energy at the throat. Hearing something about you provide a new direction, or your company, people that you work with, you're under that umbrella, right? You're a part of that structure. What do we have at the third eye, please, Spirit? Wow, strength at the third eye, perfect. So the strength card, when it comes to this energy that I'm picking up here, and the fact that it's clear to me that you do something in the medical industry based on your other questions here, Merit Medical. The strength card is all about healing, good health. It's one of the cards that represents the medical industry. And it's at the third eye. Okay, third eye all connected to your, well, this is your intuition and the channel between you and spirit. So this very much feels that you are aligned on your path. There may just be some changes internally in that space. It's not that I'm picking up here at all that you need to be on a completely different path. You're in the arena, right? You're in the space. And now it makes sense why I was guided to tell you that I think that we're going to be able to extract this fairly quickly. Okay, now the King of Cups here at the crown, this is also an energy of healing. And it all has to do with helping other people. So, having said all of this, you are here to be of service to others in the medical industry. Very clear here, okay? Without a shadow of a doubt, this is what I'm getting here. And this was sort of more getting in the weeds and kind of some of the details, okay? Which I could probably channel on for an extended period of time, but it's going to resolve right back to the same energy here, okay? So perfect. I'm going to leave this here and move along to your next question in regards to Keith. Okay, your next question. Will things get better between Keith and I? Okay. Yeah, there's a very positive energy here. 10 of Cups. This is one of the most high vibrational cards you can get. And there it is. Okay, so the illustration really speaks for itself, but it's an energy of happiness, okay? And then 6 of Pentacles, this is like extending an olive branch, okay? Bringing balance to the situation. 9 of Cups, a gesture, a positive gesture forward, and then an ending of a cycle. Could be the cycle of, whatever is taking place between you right now. It seems to come to an end. 6 of Wands, okay? So some sort of, very positive energy, victory. 9 of Cups. Energy of fulfillment, very sensual kind of energy. Okay, so it is here, but let's go ahead and pull directly on the energy and see what comes through. Just feels like there's some things in the way right now, which obviously goes without saying. 3 of Cups, okay, very positive. Celebratory energy with this 3 of Cups, Cancer energy at the foundation. Seems to be coming back together here. What do we have at the sacral, please? Too many cards. What do we have at the sacral? Two of Swords. Yeah, so there is something in the way right now. Some decisions need to be made. This could really speak about, well, the Two of Swords is an energy that feels like some sort of blocked emotions. It can also be an energy of compromise, right? Maybe you or he, or maybe both of you, need to let down your guard or kind of soften up to the situation to bring healing to this space. Right on the bottom of the deck, Two of Cups, okay? Look, it's like there you are, and there he is, and he's sort of reaching out to touch your hand, right? It's like an offer of love here. So it's all over this energy, okay? Yeah, I'm picking up on a wave of emotion right now as well. It feels like one of these coming, it's like a coming back together that reinvigorates the connection. It's like falling in love all over again. Ace of Cups. Okay, so a lot of emotion, a lot of love. And, I said it's like an energy of falling in love all over again, or finding love within the connection all over again. I'm assuming that this is your partner. But whatever the case, this card really reinforces that message of finding the love and the connection all over again, okay? There's a lot of happiness inside this energy, but it feels that what this really takes is just some effort, a letting down of guards, and just letting go is really what I'm picking up here, to be completely honest with you. Just letting go of whatever it is. Yeah, I'm hearing it's not worth it. It's not worth all of this. There's a lot of love here. A lot. Tower. Yeah, there's a lot of love, but also a lot of feels like you two are far away from each other, energetically speaking. But there's this sense here, it could be that you hear this reading and maybe you implement some sort of action here, okay? But this tower is speaking about something sudden is about to happen, okay? Which it feels very positive to me given the energy that we have coming through around it. It's also an energy of a wake-up call, right? So what are we doing? This isn't even, It's not worth all this. It's not it's not worth it in the grand scheme of things here. You know, I do a lot of readings like this in relation to love and connections. And, you know, this is one of these energies where I got to say it sticks out, it stands out because there's so much love inside this energy that it's kind of overwhelming. I can feel it. And that's simply it's just not always the case, unfortunately, when it comes to these kinds of readings. But this feels genuine, it feels real, it feels raw. What do we have at the throat? Queen of Swords. Yeah, it's like an energy of. Okay, so I think that's one card, yeah. So this Queen of Swords energy, this is either going to be you or him. But it's really representing the energy between you. It's a colder energy, okay? It's a very guarded energy. It's an energy of self-preservation. It's like nobody wants to get hurt anymore, right? So this is when people put their guard up. It's like you or both of you just need to put down your sword here. And I really feel that you can take control over this situation here. I feel that you can take certain actions to get the ball rolling. What do we have at the third eye, please? Ten of Swords. Okay, so there's the end. Okay, bringing an end to this situation. Yeah, it's very much in the energy. This needs to come to an end. There needs to be a change here. It's very stuck. It's very stagnant. I'm also hearing something here that it's one of these situations, and this goes without saying, where it starts to trickle out into the rest of your life. It's like it spills over, which all exists within you, right? It's just an energy that exists inside of you, and you show up to these other areas of your life, maybe your work and friendships, whatever it is, and it starts to have a negative influence in all these other spaces. It's like saying, my work life is great, but when I'm at home, it's horrible, right? Yeah, there's a new start here. Well, it really gives, Ten of Swords, it's either a new start or it's like an end to how things have been and a new start, or it's an end altogether, right? It's sort of like, well, what do you want, right? Two of Swords, you're at the crossroads. Do you want to just live like this, or do you want to fix it, right? It also, I'm getting this energy here. Spirit is trying to help you get this energy moving. It can't remain like this. What do we have at the crown? Yeah, balance, justice. Okay, so balance needs to be brought to the situation. Support is here. I'm getting a lot of ringing in my ears as well, which just indicates the support. And it's also confirming the energy to be accurate here. Okay. There's a lot of love, but there's a lot of, it's like a very guarded energy. So a letting down of the guard is necessary here. Okay, this is what I get for this question. I'm going to go ahead and move along to the next. Okay, your next question. Will St. Agnes School be good for Aiden? Okay, let's see what we get here. What do we have? The Foundation, Spirit? Too many cards. What do we have of the Foundation? Knight of Wands. Fire energy at the Foundation. So the Knight of Wands is a very confident energy, very passionate, very creative energy. Overall, it's just very energetic, okay? So a good energy to come out right at the beginning of this spread here. Because it's suggesting that there's a lot of movement in a very positive direction here. Queen of Swords at the sacral. Five of Pentacles at the solar plexus. Okay, let's switch decks. Okay, so I'm getting something here about well, I heard that he'll really come out of his shell. Now, this can just really speak about him feeling comfortable and accepted there. You know, this Five of Pentacles, it really gives the energy of when a kid goes to a new school, right? Maybe he doesn't know anybody there or something like that. There's uncertainty, right? But then it's like he gets along just fine, right? Knight of Wands is a very, well, it's an energy that's very, again, energetic, attractive in the sense that it's like an energy of charm, right? So people are magnetized towards him. He has friends, in other words. And there's something with this Queen of Swords here at the sacral position. Your sacral is all connected to your creativity, your passion, okay, which, you know, we've repeated these words a few times now throughout this spread here. So it just feels like it nurtures something within him. It nurtures his passions, his creativity. It makes him feel seen. This Queen of Swords here is an energy that's very clever. It's very, it's very perceptive, very organized, right? So, having said all that, it just feels like he is in an optimal space to feed his energy the way it needs to be fed. Okay, very positive energy that I'm getting here. What do we have at the heart, please? Okay, too many cards. So we have the Five of Pentacles again, right? Same card, different deck, and the Star. So it's like going from worrying, right, about how things are going to turn out to being the center of attention, this kind of energy. And it doesn't have to be that extreme, but it's just him being aligned with the most optimal choice here, okay? Which I think is more along the lines of what you're looking for. Is this the most optimal place to send him to? What do we have at the heart, please? King of Cups. Okay, there's balance here. I feel like it feels like there's growth inside of this space for him. It's like going from, let's say, worry or uncertainty, right, to complete emotional balance, right? Just, this is a very mature energy. So it is highlighting the fact that he can develop here. What do we have at the throat, please? Ace of Wands, fire energy at the throat. So again, passion, creativity, a new beginning. This is also a very inspirational energy. So this is all very positive, okay? There's a lot of development here in several sectors. And I feel that it nurtures things within him. It encourages him to maybe come out of his shell, like I mentioned, or to just start maturing inside this space in other areas of his life. Yeah, it's like one day you're just, having a talk with him and you leave the conversation and you're like, wow, he's really matured. He's really growing up, right? It's something like this. All of a sudden, from one day to the next, you just see a positive change. It's like there's just a sense of maturity inside the energy. What do we have at the third eye, Spirit? Okay. Wow. Unbelievable. Page of Cups in reverse. So this just followed what I said. The Page of Cups in reverse, this is an energy. Well, first of all, the pages are all about, they're like the children of the tarot, okay? Now, when it's in reverse, it can be an energy that's maybe, what's an energy that's not mature yet. It's an immature kind of energy. It's not developed yet. So having come out after everything I've said, it is reinforcing, it is confirming to us that this decision here will help with his development. His emotional maturity is being highlighted here. It's like saying, it's like he's no longer a child anymore. It's like he's a little adult now, right? He's developing into an adult. You can see it now. What do we have at the crown, please, Spirit? Perfect. Yeah, this is an excellent energy for a question like this. Now, the Empress is an energy of growth, development. And for a question like this, it's showing us that there's expansion here. Okay. So to answer your question, will Saint Agnes School be good for Aiden? Based on what I'm seeing here, yes, absolutely. Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and move along. Okay. Your next question. Should I try and get a full-time job with Boston Scientific? Okay. What do we have at the foundation of the reading, please? Death card, Scorpio energy at the foundation. So the death card in the tarot represents big changes, a kind of transformative energy. But let's keep moving forward here and see what else comes through. What do we have at the sacral? Ten of Wands. Very heavy energy. It feels, you know, you said, should I try, right? So I feel that here. It feels like this is a lot of work. This is going to take a lot. Wow. I just said it's a lot of work. This is going to take a lot. And what do we get? Two people working away, right? Working on things. Okay. Let's switch decks. Five of Wands. Yeah, there's a lot of obstacles here. This is also a very competitive energy. What do we have at the throat? Too many cards. Four of Wands at the throat. Switch decks. Wow. I was just getting ready to say that I feel like this is going to take a lot of work, a lot of time, and we get the Knight of Pentacles, which is the one card that really encapsulates that because it's a very slow moving energy. It takes a lot of work. Okay. Now, the good thing about the Knight of Pentacles is that even though, well, it's the slowest moving energy in the tarot. Okay. But it actually gets to where it's going to. Okay. There does seem to be something here. It's like you get a breakthrough. Maybe you get a chance, you get an opportunity here. But after, you know, whatever this work is here, it's like something needs to be improved upon. Now, this could speak about more experience that you need, or, you know, it could be as simple as improving your resume. But given the fact that we have this Knight of Pentacles here, it seems like it's a bit more than that. But Knight of Pentacles can also speak about an approach. So being very, very thorough, very methodical. You know, you mentioned in your other question here, should I quit Merit Medical in the next 2 months? Okay. I feel like this situation here, this actual energy, this feels like something that will take time. It's like you start maybe applying or putting some energy into this space and then allowing it to develop over time. Okay, let's get this crown position to see if this is. Okay, Spirit, is this worth it for her? Is it worth all the effort and time? Okay, 7 of Pentacles. Yeah. It's like you deposit energy into trying to make this happen, and your patience actually leads to something. Your efforts are rewarded. Okay, so if you're willing to be patient and put the time into this space to, without knowing all the details of your work history and life and what it is that you need to improve upon here, if you're willing to put time and energy into that, this does seem to be very well worth the effort here. Okay. But it's going to take some work. This is not a cakewalk. All right. This is what I have for this question. Let's go ahead and move along to the next. Okay. Your next question. Should I quit Merit Medical in the next 2 months? Okay. Eight of Wands, movement. Knight of Swords, movement. 8 or 7 of Pentacles. 4 of Cups. 2 of Swords, 6 of Swords. Wow. Okay, so when it comes to movement and making the decision that you're asking about here, we want to see cards that represent movement and the energy, and we have 3 of the main ones here. Okay, 8 of Wands, movement. Knight of Swords, movement. 6 of Swords, movement, transitioning on, okay? Right as I said transitioning, I got a ring in my ear. So it is here. It's most definitely here. 2 of Swords, making a decision, though, which way you want to go. Now, yeah, 2 of Pentacles, juggling with maybe a new opportunity. And I feel very connected to the previous question as well with the 7 of Pentacles here. Because it speaks about setting yourself up for a comfortable transition, right? Which in that spread, we clearly received a message about preparing, right? It's going to take time. 2 months, that might not be giving yourself enough time, okay? But let's go ahead and pull directly on the energy and see, because having said that, that 8 of Wands and Knight of Swords, those are very quick moving energies. Okay, what do we have at the foundation, Spirit? King of Pentacles, yeah. So the King of Pentacles is speaking about some sort of really solid, grounded plan here. And I feel that it has to do with, there's a couple things to consider here. I feel like this goes without saying, but are you going to transition on? Are you going to bridge from one employer to the next? Or is there going to be a gap there? How are you going to do that, right? If you're planning on bridging over, right, so you don't have any gaps, then you preparing yourself is obviously the message. However, if you don't really care about that, then you probably could quit there in the next 2 months. But I feel that whatever direction you decide to go, it does feel like it's time to move on. In fact, it's very potent in the energy. We picked up a touch of that in the first spread too, right? Maybe expanding out a little bit. What do we have at the sacral? Emperor. Wow. Aries energy with this Emperor at the sacral. Yeah. The Emperor, well, this is exactly what I'm picking up. I felt that Emperor in the energy with the King of Pentacles. See, all the kings make up the Emperor and all the queens make up the Empress. Okay. But the side of the Emperor, which is the King of Pentacles, is exactly what I was getting. A strategic plan, right? This is all about strategic planning. What do we have at the solar plexus? Okay, too many cards. Nine of Swords, Ace of Wands. So the Ace of Wands represents a new job. Nine of Swords. That could represent, well, this sort of situation. It can present itself with there can be a bit of anxiety connected to these situations. Now, that can really speak about you needing to transition effectively. You know, it's like quitting in hopes that you get another position, but maybe you're not prepared for that yet in some capacity. And then you're like, oh my God, what did I do? Right? This sort of situation is what I'm getting here. Yeah. This unbelievable Four of Wands in reverse, Aries energy. This just, again, these cards are following what I'm saying here. There's a potency to this energy. Now, this Four of Wands could be you celebrating something before you actually get it. Oh, I know I'm going to get it. And then you don't get it, right? Or something happens or it's not the right time. And then you've already moved on from that other job, right? So Four of Wands in reverse, it's really an energy of, it represents transition, like I've been saying, but it also represents celebrating before it's time to celebrate, right? You know, an example, it's like planning a celebration dinner for a new job you're getting, and then, you know, you make reservations, you go all out, you invite all these people, and then an hour before you're supposed to go to this celebration, this dinner, this get together, you get a call. Oh, sorry, it's not available anymore. We had to give it to another person, right? There was just their resume was slightly better, right? It's this kind of energy. Chariot, wow. So going back to the actual question at hand, right? The Chariot is an energy of moving on from something. And we have seen all the cards that represent movement We've seen the Eight of Wands. We've seen the Knight of Swords. We saw the Six of Swords. And now we're seeing the Chariot. All these cards represent a transition forward. Okay, so I just had some issues with my camera. I actually completed the spread and I looked up and my camera had stopped recording right at this Chariot card. Okay, so I was going to completely start the message over, but because of the potency in this message, they wanted me to just back it up to here and then continue forward again. And what I feel that this is going to provide is even more confirmation surrounding the message that I have coming through for you, because I'm going to speak to you about the cards that I pulled that they wanted me to put back so we can pick up where we left off, okay? Okay, let's... Very interesting that happened. Okay. Okay. So I had the Two of Swords and the High Priestess come out. Wow, look at that. High Priestess. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and take it. Unbelievable. I knew this was going to happen. The reason why this has happened, right? There's no mistakes in tarot. Everything that happens is for a very specific reason, okay? And the reason here is, right, they had me back up the reading, right, to here, because I went all the way through only to realize that at this point forward, my camera stopped recording, right? So I'm thinking, okay, I got to completely start the whole reading over, and I was guided no. So they had me back it up to here, and in my mind, I was like, I wonder if the same card will come out, right? And sure enough, it did. So what this is doing is putting more weight behind the message that I'm channeling through for you here. And I got Two of Swords here and High Priestess at the third eye. Okay, now we have it here. All right. So the High Priestess is highlighting your connection with Spirit. I mentioned that you need to get into meditation, okay? Because Spirit is going to help guide you through the situation correctly. So if you meditate, you may just need to spend some more time in this space. But if you don't, then you need to start, okay? You can't navigate this situation on your own. I feel that there's a good opportunity here to really level up, but it needs to be done correctly here. We had the Five of Cups at the crown, which was highlighting disappointment. Let's just say you quit your job and you don't have something to transition into. Now, the High Priestess here is coming out at the throat because it's really highlighting your movement, your communication. Spirit helping you to set yourself up some sort of bridge from your current employer to a new one, okay? Let's switch decks. Spirit, what do we have in the third eye? Unbelievable. We got it again from a completely different deck. I had the High Priestess from this deck sitting right here. Now we have it from this deck sitting right here. So they wanted to emphasize the importance of connecting with source, with spirit. See, I'm just a messenger. I was explaining this before my camera cut off, right? I was explaining that you come to me and with this question, right? So I take it to spirit. Spirit, she's thinking about quitting Merit Medical. She wants to know if she should do it in the next 2 months. Spirit says to me, well, tell her that, yeah, there is something for her, but she needs to commune with us because there's a very specific way this needs to happen. Okay, so she has to get into meditation if she wants to do this correctly. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about this. This is very clear. Okay, so we've essentially gotten the High Priestess 3 times. Okay, when it cut off, and now 2 times back to back right here. Very profound, very deep, very, very serious. All right. The High Priestess is all about divine guidance. That's your connection to source. And the fact that this message is coming through this way, I just feel that what you're feeling about quitting and moving on to a new employer, whether it's with Boston Scientific or somewhere else, I just feel that there's other opportunities that are trying to make themselves available to you, okay? And then right on the bottom of the deck, we have Judgment and the Hierophant. Okay, so divine guidance, we have God showing up right here, source. These are basically a pair. And then Judgment, a new kind of awakening, a rebirthing trying to take place in your life. Okay, now the energy, it's very potent. The messages are coming through so fast. And, my camera cutting off there, it's like the worst thing that can happen because the message up until that point is so strong. It's very potent, like I was saying. So redoing all that doesn't make sense, right? But I also realize that it's a bit, it's not ideal to have to do that. It's a bit goofy. But now we're seeing how amazing this message is, how profound it is, that I followed the guidance to keep going, right? And this is also to really, when these sorts of things happen in readings, when there's clearly something much deeper going on here than me just channeling through messages for you, there's source showing up here for you. This is to put weight behind all of the messages that have been coming through for you and within your entire reading, right? It's to show that there's a presence of spirit here in your reading, that you can feel confident about the messages that are coming through for you. Okay, what do we have at the crown position, please, Spirit? The Tower, unbelievable. Mars, Aries, Scorpio energy at the crown. There's a massive shift here that wants to take place in your life, okay? And it almost feels like there's a presence that wants to keep you stuck, right? That doesn't want you to evolve into something greater, right? Which makes perfect sense to me, especially when you work in the industry that you work in, when you're on a path that you're on. Healers work in all sorts of different sectors, okay? It doesn't matter where you are in accordance with that. It just means that you're a part of something much bigger, something that you can't even begin to really understand, okay? You're a part of the greater mechanics of the universe here. You're a part of evolution. And with that being the case, you being positioned in another position is not the most... It's not the most favorable thing for some sort of opposing force for you to level up, okay? But what I'm seeing here is a massive level up with this tower. The tower is the most explosive energy in the tarot. There's big changes that are going to unfold for you here, okay? But to really get back to the core of your question, should I quit Merit Medical in the next 2 months? Right now, don't put a time on that. Okay. Right now, you need to commune with spirit and really just meditate on this and get together a really solid plan. You quitting is in the energy. Okay. But it's got to be done right. Okay. Well, this is what I have for you. I hope that there's some messages here to help you on your path. Thank you for coming to me, and I'm wishing you all the best. Take care.